despite all the attempts from the entertainment media to stop it. Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker proved to be a success beyond all expectations at the box office. An award winner, even at the Oscars, and perhaps most importantly, it became a symbol in popular uprisings against totalitarian governments around the world. Compared to all of this success, Jared Leto's Joker only comes across as even more of a joke as more time passes. I have already covered the humiliation of Jared Leto in a previous editorial, but it just won't stop. In this editorial then, I will explore the character's treatment in the Harley Quinn solo movie Birds of Prey, what Gail Simone, the writer of the Birds of Prey comic run on which the movie was based, thought of Leto's performance as the Joker, and finally, what may be next for the clown prince of crime on the big screen. Before we begin though, if you like the content provided in this video, then leave a like and subscribe. And in the process, make sure to indicate that you want notifications on all videos. We'd also greatly appreciate if existing subscribers will take a moment to check that you are indeed still subscribed, and that you too get notifications on all videos. Because we've been getting lots of feedback that this platform doesn't send them out the way it used to. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's dive in. To briefly recap the previous editorial, when Jared Leto signed on to play the Joker, he did it with the understanding that he would be the official canon Joker of the, at the time, Zack Snyder-run DC Cinematic Universe, regardless of which of its many ever-changing names it was referred to back then. He might have started out with a glorified cameo in Suicide Squad, but after that, the plan was for him to appear in future Batman movies, and alongside Harley Quinn in her future spin-offs, and eventually his own solo movie. That was the original plan, back when the Snyder regime was running the show, and at that time, the Snyder regime was thought to last forever, or at least the foreseeable future. But regimes change, and when they do, so do even the best laid out of their plans. As it happened, the Snyder regime was done for by the time Wonder Woman was released. Following Justice League, the Ben Affleck Batman that Leto's Joker was supposed to be the arch nemesis of was no more. The Joker standalone movie went to Phoenix, and even if Leto had wanted to return for the upcoming Suicide Squad sequel/soft reboot, director James Gunn wouldn't have wanted him in it anyway. As covered before, the two men have issues with each other. And that Harley Quinn spin-off movie Leto's Joker was supposed to co-star in? Well, that movie did happen, in Birds of Prey. But not only did they opt out of making it a Harley Quinn and Joker movie, that whole project was all about making Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn shine. And as it turned out, the means of doing so ended up being by making the whole movie about getting out of the shade of Jared Leto's Joker, to the point where the finished movie even made it clear that she was the mastermind behind his best schemes all along. Adding insult to injury, not only did the movie use a stand-in for Leto, the animated Joker in the intro sequence didn't even look like him. So, in a sense, that whole movie was a celebration of his absence. As we've covered in earlier videos, and even a live show featuring guest panelist Chen, Birds of Prey was a movie that had plenty of issues. On top of those issues, you have to go all the way back to Jonah Hex to find a DC movie that performed worse at the box office. So in retrospect, Birds of Prey might not have been the optimal venue for a Harley Quinn vehicle, and they had several alternative options. In addition to that Harley Quinn and Joker movie, there was also a Gotham City Sirens movie in consideration at one point. So of all the possible venues for a Harley Quinn-centric vehicle, it would appear they chose the wrong one. Birds of Prey was nonetheless the option they went with, and the movie was mostly based on Gail Simone's run on the comic. Not being much of a DC reader myself, outside of the original Vertigo line that is, I know her mostly by reputation and for her run on Red Sonja for Dynamite Comics. I do know that she's been very supportive of the Birds of Prey movie though, and she even attended an online watch party of it with the director. And while promoting that, she also shared what she thought of Jared Leto's performance as the Joker in The Suicide Squad. In a conversation on Twitter, Gail Simone let her opinion on Leto's Joker be known. "I don't love it. It's okay. Now, keep in mind that as someone with a working relationship with DC, Gail Simone is unlikely to ever say that she thought any aspect of any of their products flat out sucked to high heavens. Especially if it applies to something as expensive as a movie, and one that is related to her own work, however tangentially. But a statement like this, at least to me, comes off as close as we're going to get to just that. Because to me, such a short and crass statement comes across as a polite-ish rewording of what might be her true feelings on the matter, and with no more hedging than that. Those feelings don't sound too good. Granted, what Gail Simone thought of a performance in a movie released almost 4 years ago by now doesn't matter much in the bigger scheme of things. Leto certainly won't be coming back as the Joker in any event. But even so, when he went so deep method on his portrayal of a comic book character that he saw fit to send used condoms and dead animals to his castmates, I very much doubt the intention was for his performance to be labeled by comic book creators as "it was okay, didn't love it." Well, by the looks of it, neither did anyone else. Better luck on Morbius, I guess. Luckily, Leto himself doesn't seem too upset by Gail Simone's verdict on his performance, if indeed that verdict even registered on his radar in the first place. While he hasn't technically been living under a rock, he reportedly did spend the past 2 weeks in the desert on some meditational vision quest or something else equally method. He was reportedly quite surprised to come back to civilization only to find it in a state of lockdown, which, to be fair, I think everyone would be if they spent 2 weeks on some kind of hippie trip and then returned to the bizarro world we currently find ourselves in. But even when the world eventually comes out of isolation and starts the process of creating a new normal, because things won't be quite like before after this, there will still be more Jokers. A sequel to Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix Joker has been confirmed to be in development, but it has not yet been formally announced. Regardless of what happens with that, Batman is being rebooted by director Matt Reeves and star Robert Pattinson. Right now, at the time of making this video, that production is of course on hold, due to the thing of which we must not speak, but which is sending the world into a depression the likes of which we have never seen before, courtesy of the Chinese authorities. Originally, filming was only suspended for 2 weeks, but those 2 weeks have since been extended to until further notice. But at some point though, who knows when, but at some point, production should resume. When it does, Pattinson's Batman is going to need a Joker all of his own, and since that likely won't be Phoenix Joker, the role will eventually have to be recast again. Maybe not in the movie which is currently not filming, but in its eventual sequel. The recurring rumor for the Joker in that movie is Johnny Depp, who, as it turns out, wasn't a domestic abuser after all, so Hollywood kind of owes him one for believing the accusations made by Amber Heard. Have you seen Conan the Barbarian? That scene where he encounters this nice, wholesome, and physically attractive woman who both fed him and desired him. This woman who just seemed a little bit too good to be true. Well, turned out she was an evil soul-sucking witch from hell. Apparently, Amber Heard is kind of like that too, so believing her turned out to be something of a perversion of justice. That aside, Johnny Depp being up for the role of the Joker is the recurring rumor, and I stress rumor. I haven't been able to find a single trade or other quote-unquote reputable source running with it, so do take it with a grain of salt. Sooner or later though, there will be another Joker, and it won't be Jared Leto. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments.